Let's talk about the importance of regularly purging what no longer serves us. One of the things that I'm realizing as it relates to identity, how we spend our time and our energy, is that oftentimes we're really holding on to too much. And that's a realization that I've come to. Over the course of the next 3 weeks, I'm giving myself a 3-week window. I'm going to be cleaning house. I'll be keeping what will actually fuel me to get to where I want to go. For me, this is sort of a like a sacred sacrificial audit. And so this is active curation. I'm going to be trying to do this with my clothing, with my appearance, my thoughts, the art and books and entertainment that I surround myself with, the content that I put out and create and consume. And I'm going to get much more serious and diligent about what stays, what goes, what's allowed in, and what's not. So I'm just putting this out there to hold myself accountable and to document some of the process, because I think this is going to be something that I help other people with. Ultimately, what I'm trying to do is build a creative company that really helps people get on the same page with who they are on a deep level in terms of identity, get very clear about what they're trying to do, what their mission and goals are in life that they're trying to achieve, what their values are, what their interests and passions are. And part of that process is understanding what they aren't, what you aren't, what you don't believe in, what you don't need, the people you don't need in your life, the people that you do need in your life, the ideas that you want in your head and the ideas that you don't, the clothes that you want in your closet, the environment you want to surround yourself with. You know, one thing I've really learned building a house out in the middle of the woods, we bought a piece of overgrown woods and we are shaping it to our own vision. And that is very much possible. And frankly, the land and the animals and the environment really responds well to that sort of stewardship, that vision. The forest appreciates clearing the dead wood. It appreciates clearing out the overgrowth of what eventually becomes a tangled, chaotic mess. And humans have this amazing ability to come into situations and implement order in the most loving sense and vision, creative vision, and to apply discernment to the situation and constraints that allow artistic, functional, miraculous expressions of genius to arise. This is one of the philosophies that, one of my heroes, Brian Eno, implements in his recording process when he's producing or when he's creating something as an artist. He developed something called oblique strategies. You should check it out. Basically, it is implementing constraints to the artistic process in a world filled with information and options and potential avenues and routes to take, things to consume. It is helpful to have guardrails, and frankly, it's necessary to have guardrails. Someone like myself runs into a lot of problems when I don't implement constraints of my own creation because I want to take in too much. I want to do too much. I want to be too much. And I think a lot of people that have ability and have intelligence and have capability are at this point where they can pursue a lot of paths, struggle with this idea of, okay, what is the best path? My approach has been very experimental up to this point. I've learned things the hard way most of the time. That's given me a lot of great learning and experience and wisdom to pull from that. But I think there is a better way to kind of get to the root of things like, how do I really like to spend my time? What is my mission? What is the kind of life that I want to live? In the sense of you're building some infrastructure around yourself and your soul, like on a deep level, almost like you're playing a character in a way, but you're curating and you're tailoring your existence and how you think about work and identity and communication and environment and choices and beliefs so that they fuel you to where you want to get to, what you define success as. So these are all sorts of things I'm thinking about, but I'm trying to practice what I preach. So I'm currently really at the beginning of this journey of going and auditing all of my stuff, things that I tend to find security in, I tend to be sentimental about, which for me is like really books, music, artifacts I've collected over the years, artwork, pieces of technology. These are all things that I love, but at a certain point they don't necessarily serve you, and they clutter up and they gunk up the system. Clothes that I've worn, there's an emotional security and comfort that I find in these things. And so I need to go through and I need to make some cuts, because I'm almost hoarding. I'm hoarding knowledge. I'm hoarding sentimentality, and I need to hold less and express more. So there's this dynamic at play. There's a sacred, energetic, almost karmic aspect of what's going on here, which is that I am consuming more than I'm contributing. And this ties back into sacrificial animals or sacrificing things to the gods. There is something very real about that, in the sense that you need to find balance between what you take and what you give. And so I need to give some of this stuff to, maybe giving it to Goodwill, but I need to let go of it and give it back. And all the stuff that I've been learning over the course of my life and in books that I've been hoarding in my own mind and in my soul and my being, I need to start giving back in the form of service, in the form of building my own business and creating projects and goods and services and experiences. I need to ground these things in reality, and that's a form of giving it back. And in order to progress on a conscious level and on a spiritual and emotional level, and progress financially and in every way, this needs to occur. So I think that's where I'm at right now, is like just doing this audit, which is I have more than I'm giving, and I need to go and I need to do that work of cutting things loose and stop being so protective and controlling of them. And I need to not worry about being perfect, but I just need to start expressing and giving. And I believe that if I do that, it will come back to me tenfold, and everything that I have will kind of almost be upgraded. It's a filtration process of letting go of what doesn't serve me, marching onward, and continuing to do that so that what I'm surrounded by is the best of the best. It's quality. It's very aligned with who I am, what I'm about, what I'm trying to do, which is to build a great life for myself, my family, my community, my friends. One that is based in like an authentic version of myself as much as I can find that, and to live life to my highest potential, given who I am and what my strengths and weaknesses are, and what my sort of unique energetic design is, and to be the most that I can be. And so if there are things that I'm holding that are not that, it's time to say goodbye. So that's what I'm going to be doing and kind of documenting.